All right. Hello, everyone. If I can have your attention for just a quick minute, I want to let you know that we're going to get the presentation underway in about 5 minutes. Dr. Webb will come up and join us. So right now is a great time, if you have a cell phone on you, to turn that on silent. We want to minimize distractions during the presentation. So if you have one of those on you, just go ahead and turn that on silent right now. Also, because Dr. Webb has so much wonderful information to share with you this evening, in order for him to get through it in a timely manner, we have to ask that you hold questions during the presentation. He'll most likely cover most of the questions that you have through the course of the evening. But if you should have any more questions, he'll stick around for a short time afterwards to answer those one-on-one. And lastly, right now is the perfect time for a quick bathroom break. They're right out those doors and to the right. And like your mom used to tell you when you were little, even if you feel like you don't have to go, just try, and then you won't have to miss anything later, okay? We'll see you in a few minutes.
5 minutes later.
All right. Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Dr. Webb's Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Dr. Webb's Stress, Hormones, and Health presentation. We're so happy that you joined us this evening, and you were always so excited to see everyone at our events because we know from experience that this can be and has been a life-changing experience for many people who have been in these very seats. And of course, we want you to relax, be comfortable, enjoy the presentation, but our big hope is that you each walk out of here this evening encouraged and empowered to take control of your health. And so with that, I'd like to share some stories from just a few of those people who have been in these seats just like yourselves and have been able to change their health and their lives around for the better. So let's enjoy the short video and then we'll welcome Dr. Webb. All right.
So I met Dr. Webb about 8 weeks ago and learned about his program. I was very skeptical, really leery about going against something I've heard the total opposite of all my life on how to feel better and how to be well. And what a difference a day makes, because now I feel great. I get so many compliments. This is the third best thing I've ever done for myself, other than divorcing and moving to San Antonio. I was not a fun person. I wanted to sleep all the time. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't sleep good at night, had night sweats, was on blood pressure medication, on thyroid medication, several different meds, no energy, headaches all the time. I even missed vacation last year because a migraine sent me home. Since I started the program, I'm off my blood pressure and my thyroid medication. My blood pressure is now at 100 to 110 over 68, where it was 122 over 68 with meds. So now no meds, and my blood pressure is even lower, which is awesome. Don't have the night sweats anymore. I sleep 6 to 7 hours a night, every night. So that's been my experience here, and I recommend this to everyone. The staff here is great. They're knowledgeable, they're helpful, answer your questions, and they're all great people.
My name is Joy Bartman. I am 66 years old. I've had kidney disease since I was 12. And I was quite skeptical about Dr. Webb's wellness program, but I was curious to see if he might be able to help me stabilize my condition. I am basically in end-stage renal disease, and so this presents quite a lot of challenges for me. Absolutely amazing that this program has stabilized me beautifully. I was able to drop my blood pressure meds. My creatinine level has improved, and my sleep is better. My BUN is better, and I have been delighted, and I am loving this whole experience, feeling better, more energy. It's just amazing what this has done for me, and I would certainly refer any of my friends to this program.
For anybody that really is serious about wanting to look better physically and feel better emotionally, I'd recommend this thing 100%, because, man, like I say, it's just, I believe what he said, but I couldn't believe that it worked for me like it has, and it has worked for me totally. And I look forward to coming in here for the visits, because everybody is just seems like a big happy family, man. Everybody's pulling for everybody, you know. The doctors and the staff, they want it to work. They want it to work.
I have changed completely. I am a lot stronger. I have color to my skin. I have energy. I can get up and do things. I no longer take any prescription drugs. I'm very happy. I'm starting school again, and I actually can keep up with my 6 and 8-year-old at home.
Recently, about 2 weeks ago, I went to my doctor for my annual physical, and she was really amazed at the lab results, the glucose levels, my weight loss, my liver enzymes, all the negative indicators have gone down, and she was really amazed at what did I do. So I told her about the wellness coaching that I've been receiving from Dr. Webb, Dr. Boss.
It works. It really works. When I started doing this thing, I guess I was just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and now I'm not that way anymore. You know, I like my life the proof is in the pudding, I guess, so they say. And it worked for me, and people can see the difference. People can see the difference.
So I guess if you've divorced and you moved to Texas, you're halfway there, right? Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy evenings, your chaotic lives, to work on your life, because that's what we're going to be doing this evening. And, you know, we get to, I can look around the audience and I see that, you know, most of the audiences I speak to, you know, I'm middle-aged. I'm 58 and 60 is around the corner. And most of the people I speak to that come to these talks have gotten to a point in life where, quite frankly, they realize they're not immortal, and they start realizing, oh crap, maybe I made some wrong decisions, right? We have consequences that we live in. We can't pick our consequences, but we can pick our choices. And so we find ourselves at a stage in life, in middle life, that maybe we figure, I wish I would have spent a little bit more time working on my health, abundant living, rather than just trying to make a living and being in life all the time. And so you guys are going to have a really eye-opening experience this evening. And my job is to help dispel mess and start showing you the truth in things. And when I look around the audience, I know that a lot of you are in the same place that most of my audiences are in. You get to this point of midlife, whether you're in your mid-40s, late 40s, 50s, 60s. We have people here, I can tell, of all ages. And it should be a time where we really can enjoy life to its fullest. You know, the kids are gone or they're going, house is paid for. It's time to fulfill that bucket list, right? But that's not always what happens. So let me ask you this. As you move through the rest of the years that you have, whether it's 20 years, 15 years, or 40 years, how would you like to avoid going through the rest of those years, those golden years, basically fat, sick, and generally depressed? Would you guys like to avoid that? Or no, you want to stay with that? Because that's another talk. We can talk about how to become fat. Maybe some of you are already there. So look, we want to avoid that, but unfortunately, the majority of us that go through life, we go through that, and that's exactly what happens to us. Why? Because of not making the right choices that we need to make, and making some choices that maybe we shouldn't. So yeah, even my son understands this. My son Landon's 14 years old, and my in-laws came by. We moved into a home a little over 2 years ago, and the in-laws, Bobby and Amanda, and my brother-in-laws, Brandon and Lewis, they come by. It was Lewis's birthday, and we're over. Now, Mindy is 15 years younger than me. So my in-laws, I mean, her mom had her pretty young, so her mom's only a few months older than me, and her dad's only 2 years older than me. So what's cool about it, we go on vacation together and stuff, and I'm not having to take care of them. That's pretty cool, right? And hopefully they'll live that life because they're around us. But my son even gets this with the typical population out there. So Bobby asked him, my in-law, he's over at the house, and he says, Landon, this is a really beautiful house. We love this house, and there's a lot of room here. And he says, we're going to be retiring in a few years, Landon, and we were thinking maybe we would just move in with you. And Landon's kind of like, well, I don't think so. And then, what do you mean you don't think so? And Landon's like, well, we'll just put you in a residence home, right? And this is, would you do me a favor, Trevor, and turn this down just a little bit? I'm getting feedback. So bottom line, this is the way that things end up happening. And when we don't take care of ourselves, number one, it's not fun for ourselves because we can't fulfill our purpose. Number two, we can become a burden on others. And when I married my wife at 15 years younger, I can tell you this, I have no intention on becoming a burden in her life. I didn't marry her to take care of me. And my son, when he's in high school, I'm going to be, I'm going to be in my 60s. When he's out of college, I'm going to be approaching 70 years old. It's not fair to him that he doesn't have a daddy, a real daddy that's around, super daddy. And I plan on being there. So as I go through this evening, I'm going to take you guys on a journey to help you understand how to reach your destination. And I'm assuming you guys came here more than just getting information. I'm assuming you came here because you're saying, Dr. Webb, I'm looking for hope. I want to be able to do things differently. Would I be right in assuming that? Yeah. Most of you are here because you want help. Because I can give you information and I can give you knowledge, but we're drowning in knowledge. There's so much information overload, and we're starving for motivation. And my job is to help you guys understand the knowledge, but help put things together in a blueprint so you don't have to take all the years that I did, invest all the time and money and life experience to learn this, because this is what I do. You don't have time for that. Let me help put the blueprint together for you. But as a doctor, I don't believe a doctor can really do their job if they're not actually being an educator, if they're not mentoring. I don't think they're going to do their job. So I'm going to be here this evening. I'm not going to sit here and just present to you. I want to have a conversation with you. Would that be good? I want to have a conversation with you, but I want to act as if I'm your coach. Because if I'm your coach, I have a responsibility to help you fully understand. I'm not going to talk doctor talk. That's not what you want. I'm going to help you guys understand the truths about your ability to take control of your life. And I'm going to spell that out very, very clearly. Because I believe that each one of you has a purpose in life. I believe we're all here to achieve greatness. Do you guys believe that you were just put here by accident? Or do you think that maybe you have a purpose in life? We all do. We all have a purpose. So let me ask you the next question. And don't be honest. We can have a conversation. Yes? We're good? Right? So we're going to have this conversation. How many of you, who in my audience, absolutely believes that you're fully in your purpose, you're moving forward, you know you're on purpose, you're there? How many are there? Not very many people. And if we all agree that yes, Dr. Webb, there's a purpose and I need to do that. And yes, you do, because I think when you leave life and it's time to go, you need to leave it on the field. You need to leave everything on the field, because when you fulfill your purpose, that's going to allow you to live abundantly, but it's going to impact more and more lives, your kids' lives, right? So I don't believe that you can fulfill your purpose if you haven't fulfilled your health. I've been very fortunate. At the age of 12, as far as I can remember, I got into health. I'll tell you a little bit about that later and who my mentor was. But I've always had this drive to be as healthy as I could, because that's what makes me feel good. All the other stuff doesn't count if I don't have it. Having the knife, a nice living and traveling and all that, it's not fun if you don't have your health. I mean, you've heard one of these people that had kidney disease. I had another one on dialysis, and they like to travel. him and his wife. Every time they traveled, they had to take a dialysis machine with them. Thank God he had the money to do it, but how much can you enjoy your travel when 3 of those days a week you're on dialysis? All right? So look, I've got a short amount of time to help you guys understand some information here. Again, information, blueprint. My job is to compel you. I don't want you to leave here with just knowledge. But in an hour, 20 minutes or so, I can't give you everything that I want. I promise I'm not going to leave you hanging. I know there's people here in the audience. You picked the phone up, you came. It's your last hope. I know that. I know you've tried stuff. You're struggling with it. I'm not going to leave you hanging. What does that mean? Well, at the end of this talk, if you get it, I think you do, and if I do my job and compel you to start making different changes in your life, okay, what do we do now? There's going to be an opportunity for you to work on your life individually. And I'm going to give an opening for you to say, would you like to see what that looks like? Would you like an opportunity to sit down with me? Because we're going to have an hour and 20 talking about how this thing works. What's the unique situation we can do with you and say, hey, I want help. Can you help me? And if you guys want me to hang out at the end of this talk and you give me permission, say, yes, I want more. I want to know what's my next step. Then I'll ask for that permission and then we can move. My goal here tonight is to take as many of you as I can and empower you to take control of your life so you can live with abundance, you can fulfill your bucket list and help those in your life. Sound good? Yeah. So that's where we're going to go with this. And again, I'm assuming everyone put a couple of hours aside tonight. I mean, you're here, right? So if you came, you probably want me to stay here till midnight. I won't. But everyone put a couple hours aside. No one's got like a hard, I got to go like in the next 5 minutes. Everyone's good. So if you put that time aside, and I'm going to be speaking over the next hour, 20 minutes or so, you got no place else to be. You're here. You got nothing else to do. So just do yourself a favor. Listen to everything. If there's some skepticism you brought, I'm okay with that. I'll answer those questions. If you came as a guest, you're supporting your spouse, thank you for coming. But this is for you too. Well, it's just for her. Well, what about you? Your wife wants you around. Your husband wants you around. Your kids want you around. So it's for you too. And some of you came here tonight and you don't even have a clue who I am. You don't even know why you're here, right? Some of those, right? Who's in the audience? So if you don't know who I am, I'm a proctologist, and we're going to be talking about proctology tonight. Would that be fair? I'm just kidding. So you all are welcome, and I know I hear after every single talk, someone comes up to me, Dr. Webb, I didn't even know why I was coming here. I just came with Jennifer, but you were speaking to me the whole time. I want help. Okay? So who am I? What business, what right do I have to be up here speaking to you guys? I think that's important to know a little bit about me. So, and what my credentials are. I think my biggest credential is the way that I live my life. I walk the walk. I really do. It's not hard to live healthy. It's just different. I'll never ask any of my practice members to do something that I'm not willing to do and I haven't done. Living healthy is very, very, very enjoyable, it's really exhilarating, and it brings you the ability to really serve a lot more people when you have that. So my lifestyle is who I am, and that's my credentials. My doctorate, I'm not the typical traditional allopathic medical doctor. That's not my background. I'm not a cardiologist, an endocrinologist, a psychiatrist, a psychologist. That's not what I do. There's a place for that. My route that I preferred to do, I took a different approach. I took a route, my doctorate's in chiropractic. And I took that route because it suited me better, because I felt there was a little bit more of an approach to the underlying cause of things, and it was more structured toward fitness and nutrition and things like this. And so I took that route, but that wasn't enough. I wanted more. And so as doctors specialize, my specialty was in what's called functional medicine. Now, I don't think that's the best word for it, so let me help you understand what it means. When we work with people, when we work with individuals that need to take their health to a higher level, and they have symptoms going on, whatever those symptoms are going on, right? I mean, what are some of the reasons you guys came here tonight? Why'd you come here tonight, SJ?
High blood pressure.
You came here because you have high blood pressure. Did you have any symptoms, or they just told you?
Dizzy all
So you weren't feeling good, high blood pressure. Anyone else? Why'd you come here?
Chronic pain.
So chronic pain. Anyone else? Tired? So it sounds like most of you have something going on to where you're not living to the point of going. Living healthy isn't just about not having discomfort, but living is to be able to get up in the morning feeling giddy, being exhilarated, and having your mind and your wits and your emotions about you. It's about the whole thing. Because some people come and they go, "Oh, Dr. Webb, I just came because I have this belly fat." Maybe they don't have a lot of symptoms, but you know it's going to create problems that are underlying. But what other kind of pain does it cause? Emotional, confidence. And that's not okay, right? Every one of us deserves to feel the best. We're beautiful people. We're created that way. And we really have a right if we understand the truth. But over time, from a very young age, you haven't been necessarily given the truth. So we're going to be going through this. And as I go through this, so let me finish on who I am. So that's my background. Functional medicine I was talking about. Here's how you define that. If you've got an underlying problem, we want to address the reason that the blood pressure started. I want to address the reason why the blood sugar is up. So everyone knows what an endocrinologist is, for example. Does everyone know what an endocrinologist is? Can someone help me out? What's an endocrinologist? What do they do? Okay, so diabetes, thyroid, anything else? They work with glands and hormones. So any kind of hormonal problem. So if you go to the endocrinologist, it's because you were referred to go to the endocrinologist. Does everyone understand that? You are referred to go to the endocrinologist because you now have what we consider a disease, because the labs now have gone, if it's blood sugar, oh, you've reached this point of high blood sugar that now we have a disease. So so now I go to the endocrinologist. What's the endocrinologist going to do? They're going to give you medication. Okay, so once we have the disease problem, the traditional model, and guys, I'm not here beating up doctors. That's not what I do. I've got tons of friends that are medical, traditional. There's a place for that. We'll get to that. The system in itself tells the medical doctors this. When the blood sugar gets to here, you put them on metformin. Who's going to do that? The endocrinologist. So does that sound like a wise decision? Let me give you an option. The majority of diabetics are type 2, and the majority of diabetics can be corrected. They never have to go there. And don't believe the genetic deal. That's such a small amount of things. So it's going to be lifestyle. Bottom line, would it be better if I was the doctor to say, "Hey, Stacy, look, I'd like your blood sugar to be here, and you're still in the normal range, but the range is like this, and you're moving here, and if we don't do anything, what I can see as a good physician is you're probably going to get diabetes if we don't do something about this." Would that make more sense? What are we going to do about it? The functional doctor that looks at the functional approach understands how the body works, and we start changing what created the problem so she never has to go on metformin. Does that make sense? So that's the difference, and that's how we work, because the bottom line here, me, my associate, I've never healed anyone. I don't fix them. You might not want to hear that, but the truth of the matter is, as a doctor, I understand, and I don't have this big ego to think that I can heal someone. What I can do is diagnose. What I can do is understand the reason why this imbalance is there, and what I can do is empower you and show you how to correct it, because it's your body that heals. Doctors don't do it. So don't let anyone be this ego, "Oh, I fix this person." Now, you might have sewn them up. Yeah, that's a good thing. You might have taken the tumor out. That's a good thing. But once we do, the body has to then move forward and heal. So that's the functional approach. Everyone good with that? So would everyone kind of like to know more about how they could use that in their life so they could take back their life, so you don't have to live in fear about maybe where you're going? Do you like that? All right. So healthcare crisis, America's healthcare crisis. Let me ask you this. Do you feel that we have a healthcare crisis in this country? Maybe yes? Help me out. Why do you feel that we have a healthcare crisis? You can talk. Insurance dictates everything. Doctors don't spend quality time. We're getting fatter and sicker. Not enough hospitals. People overstressed. People wait to get sick. So let's take a halt there for just a second. I heard stress. I heard a lot of things about the starting point of things, stress, waiting to take action. And then I heard some points. People are fat and what was it you said? They're fat and what else? They're fat and sicker. Okay, is that the healthcare crisis or the reason they became fat and sicker? The reason. If I look at everything, the way doctors are trained, again, not beating doctors up, this is the system. Doctors, all doctors, in my opinion, 90% of them have a huge heart and a good intention. Your doctor that you're seeing right now, I'm sure has an unbelievable intention to support and help you. Unfortunately, when they go through school, how much do they learn about health and how much do they learn about disease? I don't think there's more. In most medical schools, there's almost zero nutrition taught. Whoa. How can you be healthy without nutrition? What's taught is disease. Think about this. If let's say it was just normal, that everyone smoked in the United States, and doctors studied lung disease. That's what they studied. They studied lung disease. They didn't study lung health. They studied lung disease. So everyone that's coming in has lung cancer, inflammation cancer. Where do you think all the research money is going? To deal with the lung inflammation and the lung cancer. Does this sound very smart? What's the problem? Why didn't everyone quit smoking and we don't have the disease process? But there's not a lot of money to be made in that model. You see, the model is designed, don't teach the doctors on how to prevent, how to be proactive. Don't teach them how to empower. Keep everyone in fear. Keep everyone believing that you need that insurance. I mean, I mentor this young kid, Antoine, and he's trying to learn to become his own entrepreneur. And the challenge, his parents, his uncle, don't try to go in business by yourself, son. That's only for people that have money. That's only for lucky people. You need to get a good job that has good benefits. That's what we're taught. Get good benefits. Like it wouldn't make more sense just to make a lot more money and pay for your own. But the bottom line, we're taught that we've got this, like you said, we have this golden parachute that, what do I care if I get a problem? Because I have insurance, and insurance will fix me. So understand that the system teaches about disease, but it doesn't teach about health. We're going to take things different tonight because I don't want you to be dependent, and I don't want you to be fearful, and I don't want you to live in this state of fear. I want you to start realizing it's time to take control of my destination. What's your destination? I don't know, Super Dad. Mine's Super Dad. My kid's 14. I already told you my story. I'm going to be playing ball with him. And when he's going snow skiing, when he's in his 30s, I'm there. I'm going to be Super Dad. I'm going to be Super Husband. My wife needs me. That's my destination. Not getting rid of back pain, not getting rid of headache. It's the whole deal, and that means lifestyle. So that's where we're going. Now, if I have insurance, look at insurance. In the last, let's say over the last 20 years, if we look at the health of our country, I don't know if you guys know this, but when I started doing talks several years ago, the average cost per man, woman, and child for health care, they call it health care, right? It's about $6,000 per man, woman, and child. It's almost $9,000 now. So we've 50% raised it. Okay, so that's more money. It's more than double money of any other country out there, maybe more than that. I don't have the exact fact on that. Here's the deal. Do you think over the last 15, 20 years, is there more people with heart disease percentage-wise or less? More people with diabetes or less? More people obese or less? More people with cancer or less? So what you're telling me, I'm just using, this is my theory, but it looks like, if you look at the facts, the more money that we put into the system, the sicker we get. That's what it looks like. Now we're at 9,000, and now, so does it make sense that we need to keep putting research and keep working on a system that works on the lung disease instead of the smoking? The system's broke, guys. And when you use this insurance card, yeah, I have an insurance card here, I do. And I use my insurance card, never. But I have it, and I have a crisis type of card, which means I have a big old high deductible because I don't plan on using it. But insurance was designed so you don't lose the farm. If something did happen to me, I was in a car wreck, well, maybe my car insurance couldn't cover, but maybe, out of 3% chance I had a genetic disorder, something happened. Who knows? Maybe I had a stroke. I need it. And I need to be in this country because we have unbelievable acute care services. We got best doctors. For that, 85% of the times that this card's being used is for chronic degenerative diseases like the lung cancer because someone was smoking. That's what's being used for. What will this card cover? What will your insurance cover? What's it cover? Covers meds. Let me ask you this question, because we named a lot of reasons why we're having problems. And again, if you don't feel comfortable answering this, okay. If I look through the audience, who's on at least one medication, either prescription or over the counter? Who's on one? At least 90% of the room. Who's on two? Okay, I won't keep going because I don't want to put any pressure on you. But my point is this. What kind of medication are you on? High blood pressure? So let's think about this. Okay, you're on high blood pressure medication.
But everyone in my family has it.
Oh, everyone does. Okay, you have the same doctor? Okay. So if you're on high blood pressure medication, then we want to correct this problem. So how long were you on the high blood pressure medication before it fixed your problem and you got off?
I'm still on it.
You're still on it. Well, did it fix your problem?
No.
Okay. Because some people think it fixed it. Well, my blood pressure's better. Okay, well, did you change your lifestyle? Well, if the answer is no, then whoa. Are we covering something up here? That's dangerous. If your body tells me a sign and a symptom that, hey, the lights are in the car, we got a problem. If I just cover it up, it's going to get worse. Let me help you out. High blood pressure medication, if it lowers your blood pressure from 180 over 90 to 130 over 85, and you didn't change your lifestyle, is that good or bad? It's dangerous because we've taken away a normal response to the body. And so how did it lower it? Well, one of the ways that blood pressure medication can lower that is reduce the pumping power of your heart to reduce the pressure. Does that sound like a good idea?
No.
Every single med, is there anyone on a med here that doesn't have any side effects? So if you want to use the insurance card, I want you to understand what it's getting you. Yeah, some diagnostics, I get it. But if you have insurance, compared to the guy or girl that doesn't have insurance, who's going to get more diagnostic tests? Well, you can bill the crap out of it. Why not? That's the way the system works. Bill. Doctors are losing their practices. They're going in the corporate world, and now they're basically distributors of the goods and services diagnosis, and their job is to bill, just like a paralegal in a law firm. Not their fault. That's what the system's done. So I'm going to challenge you to think about, do you ever want to use your insurance card? Because if you use it, you're using it on either medications or surgery, things like that. I'd rather you avoid ever using it at all. How many of you guys would like to use you guys got a car insurance? Would you like to use it? Means there's been a problem. How many of you guys would love to use your life insurance? Right? Fire insurance? Oh, that'd be a good one. Yeah, I can get a new house. Well, you can't get a new body. Right? So I'm going to challenge you on that. Your responsibility is your lifestyle. It's called extreme ownership. I know some of you know that you've been told the wrong news, and you have. It's not all your fault. I got it. But the bottom line here is everyone does know when we put something in here we shouldn't. We know when we're not exercising, on and on. So we good? Okay? So I think I said enough on this. All right. Wrong or lacking information. Has anyone ever seen one of these before? Now I use this. This is an old picture, and the reason I use it because I know that my audience is typically around my age, and everyone's familiar with this ab buster piece of equipment, and it's fascinating because what'll happen again, wrong or I've already showed you wrong information in the system. Let's see what's going on TV because we're bombarded with this stuff. So I have this machine. You're sitting back at night, not doing what you should be doing, watching the TV, and this thing comes on in the ab buster. And you want it because the girl, right? She's got abs, right? I mean, she's all there. And the guy comes in, he's next to her, right? And he's got his ripped, and you're like, well, I want to look like that. Well, just get this. So you get it, And that thing comes home and you're excited and you bring that in and you set it up and you're like, okay, here we go. And you get on this thing, and when you get on it, you're going to start bending, right? Because what do you want to do? You want to lose this. Well, I've been told that if wherever I have this fat, if I bend it, it'll somehow go away, right? So here I am, I'm bending away, and how many days go by before I start realizing, I don't know, this doesn't seem, I'm not looking like that dude. I'm not looking like that girl. Something's wrong here. There's very little energy involved in bending, right? It's like, think about this. My best friend, actually a hospital administrator out in Florida. He's a couple of years younger than me, and his wife's about the same. And she's, I mean, they're in great shape people. But if you get a little bit older, gals, we will put a little bit of body fat on. I mean, we got to work at it, right? But she's got, you know, when you have a little bit of this and it's loose and stuff. And she decided to jump back in it because she doesn't work out like my friend Kevin. She just kind of taking these because she's naturally a little bit more thin. And she started working out again. Kevin says, yeah, the kids were always asking her, hey, show us a flag, Mom, show us a flag. So she decided maybe it was time. I know it sounds bad, but it was enough to move her. So be it, right? But she didn't start bending it. She started exercising, right? So this is not, we quit because we're given wrong information. And I see people go to the gym that haven't been before that, and here they are. You know, in the past, personal trainers didn't know a lot. I give them a lot of credit today. There's a lot of personal trainers that really understand nutrition and exercise, and they're making a bigger impact than some doctors because they're acting as coaches, and that's what I think a doctor should do. So no, they don't have a lot of the knowledge and what's needed to really take someone to the next level when it comes to understanding through labs and things. But anyway, give them credit. But what I used to see, I still do sometimes, here's their client on a treadmill or a bike. And yes, they're overweight and stuff. Well, you're paying this personal trainer, and they're like coming by every few minutes. How you doing? Good, keep it up. Let me turn it up a little bit. And they go back, right? And in my days, I worked at a gym. Some of those guys would go out and back, smoke a cigarette, then come back, right? But so they're on this treadmill, burning very few calories, and the trainer should be actually working with them. And so they get off this treadmill after 30 minutes, and they burn maybe 200 calories. Okay, maybe that's a half a glass of wine, and nothing's going to happen. And then they go over to the floor and they start doing crunches, which is no different than this. They start bending their fat. And I have to pull myself away then instead of going over there and just reaching down. Come here, stop, come here. Let me help you out, right? Let me help you understand the truth. So would everyone agree here it would be better to have more muscle than fat? Because there's fat, skinny people. Right? Okay, they look okay with their clothes on, but they don't look so good on the beach, right? We all want body tone. Any day, I'll take a woman that's heavier in tone than a skinny fat one, any day, because it's still beautiful, right? I want some tone. And if we have muscle, if you have 1 pound of muscle requires about 1,500 calories per month to support that muscle. Okay, how many calories does it take to support 1 pound of fat? None. It is energy. So we want more muscle than fat. So if you put 5 pounds of muscle on, and I'm going to show you how to do that. If you put 5 pounds of muscle on, that would end up burning 7,500 calories a month without you going to the gym. If you already had it, how many guys would like to put 5 pounds of muscle on? I'm not saying 5 pounds of weight. I'm saying 5 pounds of lean tissue, which means you're going to lose body fat. Would that be cool? So how do you do this, Dr. Webb? How do you do this? Well, let's think about this. We don't want to spend all of our time doing the wrong things because we're not going to get the results. We're going to quit and we're going to blame ourselves. So, well, cardiovascular is really good for burning fat. Well, it is, but in a course of 30 minutes, if I were to show you how to do the proper resistance training, which most trainers have done, you go in the gym, there's 75-year-old people in my gym, they look good. And they're doing the same thing that the 20-year-old people are doing. They're putting stress on their muscles. If you do it correctly, it doesn't take as much effort as you think. Again, I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I don't do. But if you would be willing to spend 25, 30, 35 minutes doing things correctly 3 times a week, would that be acceptable? That'd be acceptable, right? Because if you know you're going to get the results and you start seeing your body change, you don't quit. it becomes fun. It becomes fascinating to watch your body transform. So there's right ways to do things, and there's wrong things to do things. Not being proactive. This always gets me. People come into my office, and I'll say, "Are you exercising?" Well, not right now, because you see, Dr. Webb, I hurt my knee. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, how long ago did you do that? About 6 months ago. Yeah, that's why I'm not exercising. That's interesting. Tell me about your exercise program before you hurt your knee. Crickets. Right? So they weren't. This is just justifying their current position. Well, you understand I would be. And so even if you hurt your knee, okay, I get it. What are you doing for your upper body? Oh, I don't know. And again, I get it. People aren't used to it. If you're hanging around, all the people you hang around, no one's exercising and no one's eating right. You become kind of like the people hanging around. I'm telling you to leave all your friends. I'm just telling you, you're going to have to start hanging around maybe some more people that are like-minded. That if you want to take your life to your destination, you're going to find some other people that are motivated. Maybe you'll find a few of those in the gym. Okay. Then there's people that say, "Well, I walk my dog. I walk my dog." Okay, that's good, but isn't that kind of like part of living, right? And you see these people walking their dog like this, right? And the dog's doing well here, but the person here is cheating themselves. They're cheating themselves. Okay. Who's this guy? I'm surprised that many of you know who that is. That's Jack LaLanne. So is there some younger people here that don't know who this is or maybe haven't recognized him? All right. Have you seen him before? Like here, you can see what he's doing, right? So a lot of younger people will say, "Yeah, that's the juicer." And he hasn't been around for a while. So if you're in your 40s, you still may not remember that. If you're in your 30s or 20s, you certainly won't, because Jack's been gone for a while. But I bring this up because there's people that have impacted my life, and I just mentioned this. If you want to be successful at something, if you want to really have the kind of health that you want, you need to hang around with people that know how to do that. If you want to be successful in your business, on and go. I call them mentors. I call them coaches. And I've been very blessed in my life to have a lot. I just figured when I was very young, if I saw someone doing something that had success like this gentleman did in his health, I just was attracted to that. And so I followed Jack. So Jack was one of my first mentors. And this is what Jack, for those of you that don't know Jack, this is what Jack looked like when he was a younger man. And I'm going to tell you something. Back in the 60s, when I watched Jack, I didn't see rarely did I see anyone like this at all. I remember there was a gentleman down the street from me, and sometimes I'd walk by his house, and at the time I thought he was, probably an older guy. He was probably in college, but he worked out in his garage, and he was built pretty good. I was like, God, that's so cool. And I just thought that if this is what the human body should look like, then I should drive for that. Because to me it was more attractive, and whether you're at one time when you're a guy, it just makes you feel more confident, masculine. But women today work out and they have. I see some of the most incredible physiques in athletics with women beyond a lot of men. It's really something that both of them have taken on, and thank God, and partly because of this guy here. And later in life, I think here, I don't have the exact date. I think he's like 84, something like that. And I bring this up again because I know there's some people that are always looking for the cop-out card. They're always looking, well, Dr. Webb, yeah, I'd work out too, but you don't understand, I'm 60. You don't understand, I'm 64. Well, I'm almost 60. It's part of my life. It will when I'm him. I hope I can do this, because I'd rather be there than what my other option is, right? So I don't care where you are in life. And if it's not just about you, again, think about the people that depend on you. Your kids and your grandkids don't just want you to be above the ground. They want you to participate with them. And you'll be amazed at some of the cases that I work with in my team on the kind of ability that people have to turn their life around and become like this. So mentoring is important. And when I talk about that, I respected those people that have helped me in life. I've become very good at what I do. I'm still getting better. I believe I'm very good. I've had unbelievable success rate. If you guys have done your homework before you came here and looked us up and got online and looked at a lot of the cases we worked with, the people that we've worked with, I think you'll be pretty impressed, and maybe you have, and that's why you're here. But it all came about because of people before me that taught me, including health. Well, one of my earlier mentors by the name of James, when I was very young, was someone that really impressed upon me because he really enjoyed working with younger people, and he would coach the teams in my team. And he was always there. He was always giving of himself. And he had a family. He had his own business, so he was busy. And I remember in some of my sports back in the days, we would have 2-a-day football practices. That means we're up at 5, we're on the field at 5:45, and then we're back on the field at 4:30. And he took time out to do that because he wanted to impact people's lives. It wasn't just about him. And as I got older, he watched my career, and I know he was impressed and proud and everything. But I was too close to home to help move him. So I just had to live my lifestyle. I couldn't really tell him. It's not that he was sick. It wasn't that he was overweight or any of these things. But for me to impact him, I felt like I have to live a lifestyle that he would notice. And I remember sometimes going to him and said, hey, you want to go to the gym with me? And why do I want to build muscles? I remember this. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe it'll make you feel good, and maybe it'll let you have energy and be strong in your older years and have strong bones and maybe look good in a suit. I don't know. Right? But that's kind of the attitude. And I knew sooner or later things were going to get bad. And quite a while back, it was about 7 years ago, I get a call, and James is complaining about, condition that he's got this pain going down his leg. And I knew he had that before, and it was coming from a herniated disc. And so he got care. He was doing great. And so I said, well, you got this thing done. What's up? Well, I said, you understand that's coming from your back. That's the same problem. He goes, well, yeah, I guess. And I said, what are you doing the exercises? Well, no. I go, why? Well, because it went away. And this is kind of the way that we're taught. Work on our body. When the symptoms go, stop working on our body. That's not how it works. We don't eat good until we start seeing the weight go down and our skin start looking more, toned and youthful, and we start having great sex drives on this. That's when we stop. That's when we go, holy crap, this stuff's working. I'm not going to stop this. But anyway, he wanted to come down and visit, and I said, come on down. And so we updated some tests, and we took a little bit deeper dive in these tests. And these tests came back with prostate cancer, bladder cancer, and into the lymph. Now, he's 70, 71, around there at the time. Not a lot older than I am right now. So is he in a crisis at this point in time? He's in a crisis. How do you think that made me feel? It made me feel. This is my mentor. And, of course, he was devastated, trying to take it in. And he goes back home. And it was about 4 days later, I'm on my way home from my practice, and the phone rings. And this is Jim, and I pick it up, and hello. And his voice, trembling, says, son, I think I waited too long. It took him 4 days to pick that phone back up, and a trembling voice. See, this is my dad. Jim's my mentor. This is my dad. This is my mom. This is one of the last pictures I have with him when my son was quite a bit younger, Landon. He's 14 now. He's about that tall. And for my mentor, my dad, who I know you guys, I had an unbelievable relationship with my pop. And it's hard, every time I tell the story, it hurts. Because I lost him at 72 years old. So anyway, he had an opportunity to start dealing with this at a late stage. He had an opportunity. And the problem was that, of course, the traditional model scared the crap out of him. Chemo, 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 chemo. He didn't want to do it. He tried it for a little bit of time until he got so damn sick he couldn't do anything. I can't do this. Okay, do it my way. And we took him on a path, and actually we had really gotten a lot of great results. He was moving good. He was out playing golf. Things were looking better. And his friend Gary calls me up, and he says, Gary says, hey, Charlie, is your dad supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z? I said, yeah. He goes, he's not doing it. I said, why? He thinks he's better. And so, unfortunately, things, didn't turn out right, and I lost him 6 years ago. And my point being here, guys, my dad, what he was saying in his shaking voice wasn't just, I waited too long. He was trying to get across to me, I'm sorry I let you down. I'm sorry I let your mom down. Because he did. He did. My mom's by herself now. We visit her all the time. She's a strong lady, but he didn't have to leave. And I understand some things hit us beyond our control, but there was factors involved, previous smoker, things like this, one of the leading causes of bladder cancer. So there was things that could have changed. But we got people that depend on us. This is you met Mindy earlier. This is my son Landon today. We like to travel all over the place, and we take him everywhere. And thank God, no matter if we're on the beach, if we're skiing or whatever, I'm there with my son, and I just plan on doing it forever. So I don't know what your why is, but again, if we're going to take care of ourselves, you should do it for yourself. You're important, but you should also think of others, because some of you maybe did come here and, well, my health is my business. Well, it is, unless you got married, unless you got people in your life that you love, and then perhaps it's not. Types of stress. So we talked about this. We're going to be going through hormones and stress and things like this. And so let's go through, and I start identifying this. We got to start moving pretty quick here. We have physical stresses. Physical stresses are those things that impact us, the injuries. I used to be a equestrian jumper, falling off the horse, getting impacted. When you have those, that creates inflammation in your body and chronic problems that can affect the entire body. And we have to deal with those injuries right away, and sometimes for the rest of our life, right? And then we have the chemical stresses, right? Our environment, the things that we put in our body, right? In our environment, for example, you guys have heard of Monsanto, right? So Monsanto puts out a product that has a chemical called glyphosate. Do you guys know where that comes from? Do you know what that chemical is that they put on our crops? It's called Roundup. Anyone use Roundup in their yard? It kills everything, right? It kills you. So Roundup's on everything, unless it's truly organic. So almost all your crops, your wheat, your corn, it's in the meat, because if it's not grass-fed organic cattle, they're eating this stuff. And glyphosate actually damages your gut and puts holes in it. And when it does that, you're not going to be able to absorb nutrients very well, and you're going to create an inflammatory response in your body, because you're going to get foreign proteins that are supposed to be in your gut. They're foreign if they get outside of your gut. And so the body attacks that. It's called autoimmunity. So how many of you probably have a high level of glyphosate? 100%. Now, there's a way to detox, there's a way to clean that up, and we can help you with that. But if we don't do that, that problem, if that's going on, you've got to learn in your lifestyle. Again, wrong information, right information. You've been told a lot of lies. Oh, Monsanto, this is not going to hurt anyone. Yes, it does. Yeah, it does. It creates tremendous havoc. We also have chemicals all the time. Like you guys on your table, you'll see these chemicals here, right? You see the pink and the blue and the yellow. You guys see these, right? Some of you put these in your tea tonight, because if they're on your table and they're selling them, they must be okay. The government and the food industry, they wouldn't hurt us. They don't want to create any more disease. They don't want to earn money on us, right? It's funny how insurance is an easy way to do it, because if everyone's paying their insurance and the rates just keep going up little by little, they can just keep billing the crap, and no one knows that the gallbladder surgery they just got charged $30,000. Well, who's paying for it? We are. Right? So is this stuff okay? And what's interesting, marketing's interesting too, because they use these baby colors. Do you think that was by accident that they use these harmless colors? It wasn't by accident. What color should it be? Black, like skulls and stuff on it, right? So this is probably one of the worst, this aspartame, because aspartame it actually converts into formaldehyde in your body, and it acts as a neurotoxin. So you don't want to have cognitive dysfunction. You don't want to get Alzheimer's and stuff like this. Is it directly related to some of these? I don't know. If you understand chemistry and you understand formaldehyde and you understand, will it affect you? Absolutely. How much depends on how much you're putting in. So I'm going to suggest you never do it again. The pink, well, the yellow one must be okay, right? So Splenda and these things actually disrupt the bacteria. We have bacteria within our guts, guys. And we want that bacteria to be flourishing. That's what helps us digest. That's what helps everything work in our body. It's symbiotic to us, and that'll break it down. So you'd start putting these things in your body, and all of a sudden you're not digesting good. All right, we've got. I used to drink wine. I'm not going to take your wine away from you. It's okay, but I might take some of it away. So, give you an example. I didn't really drink alcohol, but wine, because I like wine. I think it's got some benefits to it. But I started noticing, I started getting this burning sensation whenever I drink wine. I was like, what the heck? So I started diving in and looking more and found out that it was one of the crops that's real high in glyphosate. So the glyphosate was eating me up with the wine. So I stopped. Now there's places to get wine that's organic and safe. So again, there's a place to have this. And there's a place, if you live a healthy lifestyle, doesn't mean that you can't enjoy a glass of wine. Doesn't mean you can't enjoy a cup of coffee. That's not what it means. It does mean you have to be smart about things. So my wife and I, we like coffee. I don't drink a lot of coffee. And if I do, I drink an organic coffee. My wife loves coffee, but she doesn't drink it a lot. Like on the weekends, she'll have, like a triple shot of espresso or whatever. But anyway, we travel all the time. And one of the treats that I have when I travel, number one, I don't think about nothing except my family. I'm there. We like to hike. We love to ski. We're going skiing in a few weeks. That's what we like to do. But I went to Palm Desert with my family, and I was out before the day I was going to speak. I was out, went and worked out and stuff, and I drove by this coffee shop called Badass Coffee. That's a pretty cool name, right? And there's a donkey kicking right on the sign. So we go by this Badass Coffee. Across the street is Starbucks. Now, if you like coffee, and if that's kind of your treat for the weekend, are you pulling into Badass or are you pulling into Starbucks? Which one are you probably going to pull into? Badass. So I come home and I tell Mindy, I said, hey, Mindy, I found a coffee place for you that we can go to tomorrow morning. And I told her about it. And so anyway, we went and tried. I'm glad we did, because I went in there and it was this cone of coffee, and I had a nice coffee. The ice cubes were made of coffee. It was really cool, right? But, real quickly we move on. But it was funny because we were at the airport going home. My son's like 4. And usually if she goes to Starbucks, she gets him a chocolate milk. And just out of the blue, we're just having a conversation. And Landon looks at Mom. Hey, Mom. Yeah, babe. Hey, next time that you go to Badass Coffee, can you get me a Badass chocolate milk? I mean, all right. And then we have emotional stress. Do you guys think that emotional stress can create as much havoc in your life as this other stuff? Yeah, we just bring it. We bring it in, right? I mean, most of the time in our life, we're like here. And half the stuff being pumped through this on social media and news and everything else, is it really good for us? Is it just drama? Is it mostly fear, and emotional and this and this? And it's not healthy. Keep up on world events, but it shouldn't take you but 10 minutes a day. We can get away from this. I promise you, if you continue to allow yourself to just not be present, because health is the physical part of health, the mental, the emotional, the spiritual. It's all of it. And if you care about where you're going and what life's going to look like, let's just put time in it. There's no value, there's no investment on going in and spending your time on social media and these other things. It's just taking your mind and making you a zombie. I promise you, if you start getting away from that and spend that time, I don't know, a nice walk, meditate, or what have you, it's going to help you out a lot. When I was talking about these chemicals, one of the things I mentioned is if you've got this damage, if you've been putting this stuff in your body and you have glyphosate and you've drinking too much coffee, because here's the deal. Coffee is good in moderation, but if you drink too much, like these people who go to Starbucks every day, do you know what can happen? You can put stress on your adrenal glands. It's a stimulant. So if I drink coffee too much and I find myself not sleeping good and I find myself putting belly fat on and I find myself fatigued, maybe I shouldn't be drinking coffee now. So there's the place for it. I don't personally recommend Starbucks. I recommend an organic coffee that doesn't have chemicals in it. But there's a place for it, but it can be abused. So if I have these chemicals in, plus we have a lot of estrogens out there today too. Men today are not as men today, not just because they're being told not to be, but physically, sperm counts have gone down. I'm telling you guys, this is what's happening. More men have more fat on their breast tissues. This is because estrogen's out of balance. And when estrogen goes up because of drinking out of plastics, these are called xenoestrogens. Having soy products, soy protein, all these things, the estrogens go up. And when estrogen goes up on a man, the testosterone gets knocked down. And so they're wondering why they're crying at movies, and they wonder why their sex drives tank, and they wonder why they can't put muscle on. So if that's in the body, And let's say that we're going to get all of our food. Right, where's life come from? To food. The first food, that which is eaten to sustain life, provide energy, and promote growth and repair of tissues. We have to have food. We have to have the kind of food that has nutritional value. If I'm eating out of, I don't know, in Carpathia, where it's like the Garden of Eden, if I have that coming in, but I haven't cleaned my body up from all this stuff that's in it, is it going to impact me very well? So some of you actually have tried and maybe done pretty good for a while in your diet, and you're wondering why nothing's happening because you haven't detoxed. And when I talk about detox, it's a big thrown around word today. That doesn't mean putting a hose up your backside. That's not what it means. There could be a place for that. We're not going to talk about that. It's cleaning your liver and your gut out and healing the gut. That's a process. It's not hard, but it's a very specific process that we teach our practice members, a very specific process. And over time, if that's repaired and my gut's repaired, now the nutrition I can take in is going to be absorbed in my body, and that's a good thing, right? So if I want to provide energy, promote growth, and repair tissues, what kind of food is that? Does a pastry fit that? Does it promote growth and repair of tissues? It just provides what? It provides energy. So some of us think when we've tried things, we want to lose body fat, we've tried to just change our calories. Let me show you how that'll work. If you've got twins up here, Judy and Ann, and Judy's on 1,500 calories of the typical American diet, and Ann's on 2,500 calories of really good, healthy, organic foods. Over the course of time, who's going to have a higher body fat content? The one on the lower calories, because she's not providing growth and repair tissues. She's not renewing her cells the way that she should. She's aging. Her muscles deteriorating. Her body fat content's going up. So you can eat quite a bit of food when it's the right kind of food. Is it hard to do that? No, it's just different. It doesn't take any more energy to do this with good food than bad food. Hormones. As I mentioned, we've got a lot of hormones in the body, nearly 600. We've got fat-burning hormones and fat-storing hormones. Which one would you guys like to work with today? Okay, so we've got anti-aging hormone. You've heard of growth hormone. You might not have heard of insulin-like growth factor. Glucagon, maybe not. Adrenaline, just talked about that. Thyroid, testosterone. Good hormones. We want to make certain that we have these and that they're balanced. What about these guys? These are the fat-storing hormones, insulin, estrogen, and cortisol. Do you guys want those? Are you sure? Because if we don't have insulin, we're diabetic. If we don't have estrogen, girls, you're in menopause real early. And guys, by the way, you have to have estrogen too. We have to have it. Cortisol, man, we'd be a real mess if we didn't have cortisol. We'd be all inflamed up and everything else, and we couldn't sleep. So they're both good. What we have to understand, it's the imbalance here that creates the problem. It's the imbalance of things that creates the problem. What we want to do is we want to manage these. So let's look at this for a real quick example. Do you guys eat breakfast? I know there's things like intermittent fasting, and there's a place for that. We talk to our clients about it. There's a place, but most of the time we need to eat. So when we wake up in the morning, we just got done fasting from like 7 last night or 8 or whatever it is, and we want to get our body's metabolism kicked in. So we have breakfast. But even today, I see most people, we're busy, right? So we still take the quick route. We have some cereal, but we try to find a healthy cereal, and then we have, of course, cereal and milk, and then we have maybe a glass of juice or grapefruit, and we have a cup of coffee. Doesn't sound so bad. So is that good or bad? Let's see how it responds to these particular hormones, okay? So this is my breakfast. So I don't want these to be too high. So if the insulin spikes, will that breakfast cause the insulin to spike? What's going to make it spike? The orange juice. Anything else? The cereal is made of sugar, right? It's either the number 1, 2, or 3 ingredient. Well, there's really healthy cereals. Show me one that's not processed. Show me one that's not fortified. In other words, let's put some synthetic vitamins in because it doesn't have any. It's cardboard and sugar, right? What about the estrogen? What makes that go up? The milk. Who said milk? The milk. Do you know why? Do you know why? There's hormones in the milk. You guys know when you eat chicken breasts today, they're like this big. When I was a kid, they were this big. What's going on with that? I can't even do it. If I go out somewhere and I get a chicken breast and they bring it like this, I can't do it. I'm sorry, I have a salad. It just doesn't. I know that thing's messed up. How about the cortisol, the adrenal hormone? How's that going to be impacted? The coffee. So again, not going to take your coffee away. You can go to Badass Coffee. That's cool. But let's use things in moderation so we can always use them. I'd rather know that I can have a glass of wine every night if I want, because I never abuse it. And I never put a stress on my liver, because I love to have a glass of wine and play my guitar. I love life. I want all of it. I don't want to think I have to give up coffee or wine. There might be a time in detox that we say, hey, can we back off for just a few weeks? Would you be willing to do that if that was necessary? Of course. Of course you would. Body types. So we have what's called the estrogen type, and you guys have seen this, where more women, right? We've got around the hips, the breast. Do we see guys like this? We do sometimes, don't we? And that's because the estrogen's off. And typically if I see a guy like this, I know their sex drive is not going to be good. It's not. They're not going to be able to put muscle on, so they're going to quit when they go to the gym. What about this one here? The adrenal, the belly. So the adrenal type is what happens here. This is where the fat's put on, and because our cortisol stays high, we start burning up our muscle. So now that we're losing muscle, remember what happens. We don't have the muscle, metabolism goes down, so we end up losing our muscle in the legs, which is the largest part. That's the areas we want to work out when we want to get real fit. So this person here, see, this used to be back here. They just turned it around and stuck it out here. And then we have the thyroid, weight all over the body, and then we have the liver. So in the liver, what typically causes this? By the way, this is mostly fluid. There's inner organ fat too. What causes it? Alcohol, right? Anything else? What else is really hard on your liver? Medication. Medication. So typically if I see a woman like this, I don't think alcohol is often, although it can be. I think medication. All right, so let's talk about labs, and I want to include, let's see, I want to skip this one. I think I have one here on testosterone because I want to cover this with man. I think this is a different talk. I had a thyroid talk. All right, so I want to bring the guys in. This is a whole other talk, but if you got thyroid issues, we'll definitely go through this with you guys when you come in the office. So testosterone. If we look at testosterone, again, when we talk about hormones, a lot of times guys forget about themselves, and testosterone, women and men both have it. So if we look at the normal range of testosterone, it's 200 nanograms per deciliter to 800. Just remember 200 to 800. So that's a pretty big range, isn't it? That's a pretty big range. So Dean and Stacy, you're a couple. So when you guys came here tonight, did you come or did you pick up the phone or did you pick up the phone up? She did. So did you come like this or did you just willingly come? Yeah, like that? Are you glad you came? Good. So we're going to talk about testosterone here, all right? So there's a way to look at, this is a lab that we see in traditional. Now, if this is your testosterone, and let's say that your lab comes back at 250. And the question, Dean's having some challenges with his energy. He's not wanting to work out that much, not playing golf with his buddies, sex drives drop. Maybe an indication of the testosterone. So he gets it checked, and this is what it is, 250. Good or bad? He's within the range. Is that good or bad? What side of the range is he on? It's on the low side. Are you okay with this, Dean? Are you okay with it, Stacy? So you tell me where you want Dean's testosterone so you guys have a nice life. Right, okay, right there. So here's the deal. If the testosterone is higher, we want it to be on the higher range. In fact, over the years, they used to say all these negative things, testosterone causes prostate cancer, this. No, that's not the truth. You can look that up yourself. It's not. The imbalance of hormones and DHT and estradiol, there's the problem, not the testosterone. If high testosterone created problems, every 18-year-old kid, boy, would have prostate disease. So this is where we want it. But I've got to look at these tests to identify it. But if it's here, do I just want to replace his testosterone? He looks like he's young enough to have a higher testosterone than this. He's not 80. So instead of just replacing it, replacement could be the right answer. But why not find out first if I do more tests and I find out his estrogen, his estradiol, is way high? Whoa, there's the problem because it shut down his own testosterone. So if I take that functional approach, maybe we can turn this around. Highly likely, and get him back up to here. Because if his testosterone's down here, even if there was another health issue, is that good for him and his family? No, it's not. I mean, when I'm a pretty healthy guy. I like to chase my wife around the house, and I plan on doing it when I'm 80. She might not like it then, but I'm going to try to keep this up at this point up here. You see my point? But we have to look at these tests completely. Even cortisol, we talked about that a lot. I bring it up a lot because it's important to know. But cortisol is what we call the circadian rhythm hormone. It changes through the course of every 12 hours. And if it gets off, we can have problems staying asleep, falling asleep. If that's happening, we know this is probably going on. It can also cause the belly fat and everything else, inflammation. But it's the circadian rhythm that we have to measure it more than one spot. If you just go get a blood test, they'll measure one spot like at 10 in the morning. Well, if I did it right, there's different tests we can do. We can do blood, we can do saliva, we can do urine. This is a good test to use saliva. And if I do the test right, I find out that this particular individual is way off course compared to what this said. See, the doctor said, you're fine. Here's what you don't want. To not feel good, to not have sex drive, to not be able to, your workouts aren't working for you, you're fatigued, you're not sleeping good, and you're depressed. You have a 250 testosterone, they measure that, and they say, Dean, you're fine. And you walk out of the doctor's office really depressed now. You'd rather walk out, we found it. We know what's going on, and if you're willing to work with us here, because I can't fix it without you, I can give you recommendations, and I can hold you accountable, and I can put a plan. Would you be willing to do that, Dean? Okay? Everyone clear on this? So the missing pieces. All right, so let's go through this, and let's look at this. We've covered a lot of things tonight in a very short period of time, and I told you what I would do is help you guys understand the blueprint. Because you got to be able to put it together. And I want to see if I did my job and see if this makes sense to you. Detoxification. Remember what that is. Cleaning up the body to repair the gut and the liver. If you guys are going to get healthy and you want to empower your life, do you need to do this? How about nutrition? Do you have to have the right nutrients? How about fitness? Are you guys willing to put a little bit of the fitness side in? Because without it, you know you're not going to get there, right? It's fun, especially when your body changes. How about hormones? Are those important? Do you need someone to help you with this? Do you guys want to go spend the next 25, 30 years of your life learning what I did? Or would you rather just take a shortcut and invest a whole lot less time, a whole lot less money to get what I've got and we can help you adopt that? Would that be smarter? All right? So the whole thing works like this. We've got this puzzle that we've put together, nutrition, fitness, hormones, mentorship, detoxification. If we don't have a system to do this, you're going to fail. And if every one of these aren't completed. So think about this. Let's say that you've decided that you're going to say, you know, Dr. Webb, this makes sense. I'm compelled. I've never done anything like this. Maybe this is the reason I haven't gotten results. I want to go through the system, the program. And this is what's taught in the program. So I'm going to ask you this. Which one of these courses in Dr. Webb's Find Your Destination program, which one of these would you like to leave out? None of them? If you leave one of them out, are you going to have challenges? Have you guys done things in the past that didn't have all these put together? Do you understand now why it's not all your fault? Do you understand why you didn't have the right information, you didn't have a system, and without it, how can you possibly get the results you were looking for? Got it? All right. Tell me I may remember, show me I will remember, involve me, I will understand. Out of everything we talked about tonight, which is the most important here? Why? Why? Because you take control of your life. If all you do, if you guys leave here and nothing happens, you'll remember maybe 7% of what I taught you over the course of the last 60 minutes. It's about where we are now, 60 minutes. And we're going to wrap up. But that's what you would have gotten. I can show you, but you've got to commit yourself to yourself. Now, at the very first of this talk, one of the things I said, I know that you guys came here more than just information. Again, we're swimming in information, and we're starving for knowledge. We're starving for a blueprint. And I told you that I'm not going to leave you hanging. That's not fair. I've been to talks before where someone gave me this information, they left, and I was like, wait a minute, I'd like to work with you. This makes sense to me. And so here's the deal. I want to make certain I've done my job first. From what you guys came into and where you are now, again, it's just been an hour. Do you believe that you know more about your health than all the other doctors that came before me? Do you feel like you have a better feeling? Do you feel like you're there? I'm not beating up your doctors. I'm just saying, do you feel like you know more about the truth now? Why did it take me to come in and invite you to have a nice dinner? Why did it take me? I'm not your doctor. Why did it take me to come away from my family and take my time to come out? Number one, I love doing it and I care, but shouldn't you have already had this, especially at your age? You should have. So now you have a choice. You got a choice to commit to yourself, not to me. Now that you have this information, you have choices. You can go back home and not change a damn thing. That's up to you. But I want you to think about it, and I want to think about, number one, yourself, because it should be about you, and think of the people that count on you. So I'm going to ask you, are you going to make changes? Again, this is not commitment to me. This is to you. Are you going to make changes, or are you going to stay the same? How many of you, honestly, know that you're going to start making changes? Okay, so you're committing to yourself. Now, how do you make those changes? How do you make them? That's the challenge. We don't know the full blueprint yet. You know you have to be involved, but I can help you with the blueprint. I can help be that coach. My entire team can pick you up. You can be around the right people. So if you would like me to, I'll stay. If you give me permission, I can leave. I'll stay. If you'd like me to offer you an opportunity to find out more and take it to the next level. How many of you would like me to stay? Good. I'm staying. So I feel like I did my job. So thank you for being present, and thank you for everyone respecting the people next to you. Because again, many of you, this is it. Okay. Oh, you definitely want to avoid this, right? So when I talk about commitment, there's a difference between commitment and interest. You guys know what that means? I'm interested in changing my life. Great, it'll never happen. I'm committing to changing my life. Committing to changing life it's unacceptable where I'm at. It's unacceptable. And I hope your program works. It may not. We may not be a fit. I hope it does. But one way or the other, I'm committed to making changes in my life so I can live and fulfill my purpose. That's what it means. So here's what this looks like. I'm going to try to explain this in as much detail so it's not confusing. You're not going to understand it until you come in, but let me try to spell it out. So things start with a consult. What does a consult mean? It means that we're going to take time to sit down. You're going to have paperwork that you've done before you come in. And that paperwork's going to be, it's going to ask you questions you haven't seen before. And I believe that you're going to be impressed because you go, finally someone's asking me the right questions. I'm not interested in simply relieving some of your boo-boos. I'm interested in taking you to a different place in life, to a destination that you have hoped for and maybe gave up. That's what I'm interested in doing. And the consultation will help paint that canvas. What does it look like? What does super mom look like? What does super dad? What does super grandpa? What does super husband? That's what we'll discuss. What does that look like? And we'll go through what a wellness evaluation, basically the starting point of this, is to understand your history. Where are you? What are the conditions you're dealing with? And how do we direct that? How do we handle that? Okay, so this is a learning process. When you fill that paperwork out, think about these things and answer those questions completely. Guys, if you want to come in and get my help, have mama fill your paperwork out. Because I know that you're not going to do it. I'm a guy. Fill out completely. It'll take you 15, 20 minutes, maybe 25. I don't know. It's worth it. The more detail you give me, we're going to be able to help you more. So we've already spent a lot of time together. This is going to be on your unique situation. So we have the wellness evaluation. I'm going to be sitting down with you. I'm going to have this ahead of time, and we're going to be sitting down knee to knee. I don't sit behind a desk. We're going to have a conversation, and we're going to learn everything about your unique situation so we can move on with this plan of action. Whether you're looking to take it to here, or to here, that's up to you. If we say, we can't take it to there, I'm going to be very honest with you. We can take it to here. Are we good? We're good. What's that require? What do you need to do to co-labor? You're going to find out. Will I ask you to do anything that I don't do? Will I ask you to do that? I'm not. And hopefully, you guys, do you suspect that I'm probably a pretty healthy guy? I walk the talk. I think I have a right to coach. I've been doing this a long time. I want you to be able to trust that and know that I am not going to ask you anything. This is not difficult, it's just different. ABC 1, 2, 3. So the plan of action, we'll figure that out together and what your goals. And if you want to go to here and we feel we can get you there, I'll be very, very clear on what that looks like, time frame and everything. I don't know who you are right now. I don't know. If you're an athlete, I don't know if you've been neglecting your health for years. I'll find that out when you come out. So I don't know what that looks like. That's what the consultation's for, okay? So when you guys go in to your doctor, everyone have a medical doctor? Okay, when you go into the doctor and you see that doctor, how much time do you usually get with that doctor? I'm hearing 5. I'm hearing 15. What else we got? How much time? 5, 15? Is that, did anyone get more? Okay, that's good. How much time? 30 minutes, good. Okay, that's better than normal, right? The average is about 7 minutes, all right? So when you go in that 7 minutes, how long do you wait to get your 7 minutes or your 30 minutes? So your time's not very important? Are you sure? Doesn't sound like your time's very important. I think we should respect people for their times. I do that. If someone has an appointment with me, I'm going to do everything I can to make certain that you ain't waiting for an hour, let alone 30 minutes. Sometimes it might be a little, maybe 15 minutes. I'll apologize because we try to do our best because your time is valuable. Same with mine, right? What do you get charged for that visit?
It's free.
Oh, it's free. Medicaid. Anyone else? Okay, let me repeat the question. What are you charged? There's a difference between what you pull out of your wallet and what you're charged. What are you charged? What's the visit cost? What's it charged to insurance? Do you know why I'm hearing crickets? Because you don't know. Because you think it's free. Would you be upset if you found out that it was $15,000? I'm not saying it is, but would you be upset? Don't you think you should know what it is? It's averaged between $200 and $300. Is that fair? Well, let's decide if it's fair. From now on, you're going to wait 30 minutes to an hour to get your visit. You're going to get your 7 minutes, and you're going to pull your wallet out and spend $300 for what? What are you going to get for that visit? A prescription? Are you going to learn what you learned tonight? So would you be willing to do that if you had to pull your wallet out? Let me put it another way. Would you be willing to do that if you pulled your wallet out? That's no. So if you're saying no, I wouldn't be willing to do that, I'm going to suggest you don't see the value in that being $300. So why are you going? I don't know. I like free stuff. Right? Now, what it can do, it can create more problems. I don't want you to have to take things. And again, I'm not telling you to go off your drugs. I'm not your doctor, guys. But let's start thinking clearly here. I don't want you to use your insurance for anything, because if you do, they're just banging that card for whatever. All right? So if you come in, when you come in, I expect to see you. When you come in, by the way, if you raised your hand, you're going to commit, I'm going to highly suggest you commit. Take the next step. You don't know everything now, but you know enough. So when you come in, how much time should I put aside for you? As much as you need? What does that mean? How much time? An hour, 30 minutes? I'll tell you what, I think an hour's fair. It might take less, but now let me ask you this. I asked you this earlier. How much time I've already spent with you? An hour. So you know a ton. So when you come in, I don't have to be spending time helping you understand the truth. I don't have to understanding my model. You're going to learn more of it, but you understand the pillars of the model, and we've already agreed those pillars have to be there. So we're going to be talking about how's that relate to you. So we're going to be spending an hour together. Now, is it fair that I charge for my time? Would that be fair? All right. So my fee for that hour is $287. Now, here's what I do. I'm going to reduce this by $200 to where it's just $87. Why do I do that? Why do you do that, Dr. Webb? Because I wanted to pay you $500. Why do you do that? Number one, you're fully educated now. Fully. You're so much more educated that now I can have a really good conversation and I can dive directly into the situation. I'm dealing with someone that's been pre-educated. That's easy for me. Number two, we still don't know each other that well. This is an opportunity to build trust. Build trust. Number three, why do you charge at all? Because number one, 87 doesn't cover my time. It doesn't, guys. So why do I charge it? Why do I charge it? To bring value to the meeting. I couldn't have said it more. I just say skin in the game. It tells me, yes, Dr. Webb, I believe your time's worth it, and so far, I'm compelled to think that you probably can help me and my family. I'm willing to hold that appointment for 87. That means I'm going to show up because I'll be there. That's all it's for, guys. I promise you, it's going to be well worth your while. So when you're coming in, this is all it is, and that's how you hold your appointment. I want an appointment. How do I hold it? Right there. And Mindy and Mary are going to be by here in just a little bit. Your dinner's coming. So to hold an appointment, it's the 87. If your spouse, your significant other, also wants to, you're both coming in, then you'll hold that for 47. Now, your spouse may not want an appointment. That's okay. I'm still going to ask the spouse to come in. I'll get that into a second. Everyone understand this. It's 87 to hold it. On scheduling these appointments, real quickly, I've got the next 2 weeks for this group here. I do these talks frequently. You've probably seen this, my advertisements and so I do these. So I've got 2 weeks set aside, and I'm going to fill those spots. We only take so many clients. Why? Because we're going to make certain that we spend opportune time for us to spend the kind of quality time and work with individuals to take them to the destination. I only take so many a month. So do everything you can to get scheduled in that period of time. If something comes up, and just be honest with us, have integrity, say, hey, I can't in this amount of time. We've got a trip planned or whatever. I get it. She'll work with you, but she may end up coming back after she makes certain that we get the people scheduled in 2 weeks. So try to do your best for that. It's not pressing, but it is pressing. Am I committing? Yes, I'm committing. When? Now. Not someday. So let's get you on the schedule. Okay, so that's how that works. Real quickly, when you come in, here's just a few things I'm going to ask you. Number one, make certain the paperwork's filled out. If it's not filled out when you come in, we'll probably have you reschedule because I won't know enough about you and we'll spend too much of your hour going over that stuff. I want to go over your stuff, talking about your destination, how we're going to get you there. And I know that's what you want. Number two, if you do have a significant other, I'm going to ask you to bring them. Do you understand why? Do you understand why? If I ask you guys to come, you weren't going to come here tonight, but you got dragged, you said. Are you glad you came?
Yeah.
I get it. Are you glad? In other words, Stacy, if you would have come home to explain this to him, okay. So Stacy, you're coming in, okay? So you're going to come in. Now that you know this, and thank you for supporting, and I do appreciate that, because you'll get better results if you have someone supporting. So if when you come in and we go through your case, do you think it'd be a good idea for you to be there? This is your wife?
Yeah.
Okay? Because if I'm going to ask someone, if I'm going to ask Stacy or you to make changes in your lifestyle and you have a significant other, don't you think it's important that they know exactly what's going on and why you want help? Because they don't know. They don't know. And we're going to open that up a little bit in the consult. And they need to be fully trustful and supportive that my team, myself and my team, are their best interest too. Okay? There's going to be the decisions made. I never ask people to make decisions on making changes like this, financial decisions, without both of them fully being on board. It's called respect. So please be in there. I know sometimes people say, I just can't bring this person because they're out of town. I got it. If you're kicking them out of the house or they're out of town, in the military or something, I get it. Otherwise, we're going to do that. So if you have questions on that, talk to Minnie, but that's what we did. And the last thing, be there on time. I'll be there. Pretty easy? All right. So I know you held your questions. I'm going to answer 3 common questions. Then I'm going to pull my mic off, and I'm going to hang up in front because I know there's probably some of you that have private questions. And I'm going to respect you to have that privacy. I'll hang out for a while, but please, if you're going to ask a question, come on up because I'm going to get home to my family too. All right, so common questions. Number 1, Dr. Webb, can you help everyone? No, we can't. There are people that have gotten to a point that I'm quite frankly, I can't. There's been too much neglect too long. It doesn't happen often. I would assume that it's not going to happen in here because you guys walked in. I don't see anyone with an oxygen tank or dialysis. So chances are, yes, it's just simply a choice. Do you want the help? The people that we can help the most are the people that have the mindset and the willingness to co-labor and understand, take extreme ownership of their life and say, all work together. You're my coach, you're my mentor, you're my doctor. I'll participate. I'll get on the field. That's who we help. So if you're compelled tonight to take your life to the next place, you're perfect. If you, at this point in time, you simply feel that you're unwilling to change it, I can't push you. I really wish I could. I want everyone here to move forward. That's my goal. And I'll do everything I can to motivate, but I can't force, all right? Number two, common question, do you take insurance? What do you guys think? Do you want to use it? I get it. You wish it was for free, but nutrition and health and training and understanding, learning is an investment. I've invested a tremendous amount of money in my life and my coaching. If you don't invest anything, is there any value in it? And are you going to do it? No skin in the game, right? So then the question becomes, and by the way, some people, well, will it cover some diagnostics? Yes, we'll talk about that. But the bottom line here, is it affordable? Well, I can tell you this, the majority of people that come into my practice, I don't know that I've ever had anyone come in, maybe a few, that aren't on a budget. People are on budgets. You know what your budget is. You know that you can change some things around and put some money toward, if you haven't been investing $300-400 in the bank to set aside for your health for the last 30 years, you got a debt. And so you got a tax issue. I mean, you got to invest in yourself. So really the question is, are you willing to invest $200, $300, $400 a month into your health for a short period of time? It's just a choice. The way I see it, it's a choice. If it's important enough, you'll find it. No, we'll work with you on that. That's what the consultation's for. I don't know if you're again a healthy person that only needs a couple of months, 3 months. Well, I don't know. I don't know if you need a year. And whatever the solution is, we'll come to the decision if that's the right decision to move. Last question. Can you help me if I'm out of town? Yes. This is a coaching program, we're not just doing treatments. Sometimes it's all education. So your case will be unique. So I do want you to come in for the initial. Now, some people are out of, not probably here, but I have people that come in from out of the States. We do it all online. It's all virtual. But I've got other people that travel from Houston here in San Antonio. They travel from Houston. Yes, come in for the appointment. You can do that. It's worth it. So I don't know how far you're away, but I've got people from Seattle and New York. They make it here, the initial visit, so you might be 20 minutes. I think you can manage. So guys, I really expect to see most of you, especially those that raise your hands. Thank you for being present. Thank you for courtesy. Thank you for respecting your neighbor. And thank you for taking action and being here and work on your life. Again, I'll take some private questions up front. God bless. Enjoy your meal. Have a wonderful evening. Okay, guys, was that helpful? So let me ask you this. What appropriate length of a talk? As long as it takes. Let me ask you this. You guys have heard it, I get it. But for those of you that heard this for the first time, okay, did I bore you? Did I keep you engaged? Yeah. Did I keep you engaged? Did you know? How much time did I tell you that I was going to speak? How many minutes was it? Did you look at my clock? 1:22. Okay. Now, was that too long? I set you up ahead of time, 1:22. From me speaking, not when Mindy, from me. How much time did you put aside for the talk? I ask you. Where do you have to go and what do you got to do? Nothing. So I presented myself. I gained respect. Has anyone got a hard stop they got to go? So it was very clear. My point is, if you own your material and you're helping these people move in the right direction, the time went by, right? And you probably, if I would have said, hey, I can get into something a little deeper here. You guys want me to stay for another 15 minutes? You probably would have said, yeah, let's go deeper. So the bottom line here is, if you get the material done in an hour and it's effective, that's fine. Could I have done this talk 20 minutes earlier? Yes, and sometimes I've done that because I have to get to the airport and I can make it very impactful. But the bottom line, the material I wanted to cover tonight, I wanted to do it almost identical to one you're already familiar with. I don't want you guys to think you have to change things. Was this pretty damn identical? So I didn't want it to look different. I just wanted to be clearer. I wanted to bring it up a little bit so you guys, now you have a feel for it and you know what works. Now let me ask you this. What was it about the way that I delivered the talk that kept your attention? Interact.
I felt like we were going somewhere all the time. I wasn't like thinking.
Did you know that it wasn't my first rodeo?
Yeah.
You knew I was going to take you somewhere. Did I tell you I was going to take you somewhere? Did I tell you what to expect later? Did I tell you what my intentions were? So when I got to the point of saying, do you want me to stay to offer you an opportunity? Can you guys do that? Don't you respect me for giving you an opportunity? Would you rather me walk out? Because some of you get uncomfortable when you close. Do you know how long the close was? It's 20 minutes. How long should your close be? Probably 15, 20 minutes. Don't speed up the close. Oh shit, I've been speaking an hour. I need to get through it. You speed up your close. I've made the mistake. How do you think I know this? In fact, I made the mistake 3 weeks ago talking to prospective doctors. I made the mistake. I didn't do my close right. My close rate sucked. Yes, my close rates can suck too. Because I didn't do it right. Now, I walked away, not freaking out. I walked away going, I know what I did. I mean, it's a new talk for me. It's a new talk, talking to prospective doctors. It's a new talk. So I'm going to be in the same situation, but I'm going to know what I did. The opening of your talk and the close of your talk is the most important. When I opened up the talk, did you feel energy? Bring it. You feel the energy. When I opened up the talk, did I help lead you guys to understanding that we were going to go on a journey and go to a destination, not treat boo-boos? You see how that works? So if you're doing a talk like this, if I came to your city and I did the talk, do you believe I'd have a high closing rate? So it's not the people. Don't ever go there. Now, can it happen sometimes? If you're getting an 80% close rate all the time and all of a sudden you get a 20, don't flog yourself. It could have been a bad group. Shake it off. Don't change your talk yet. You've been doing 100%. Now, if you went, like I did, I changed my talk this last one, and that's why I got in trouble in my close. So the whole thing was goofy, right? I was testing it. So all the stuff in the middle that you guys think's the most important, all I had to do was show you compelling evidence that you had to have those things in the structure of it. That was it. How long did I take to talk about detox? 3 minutes? You don't put a hose up your backside. You got to clean it. That was about it. Do you need to know, as the typical person out there, do you need to know any more about detox than that? Don't talk doctor talk. Did I use any difficult words? The only time I used something that you might be confused, I said functional medicine, then I stopped. And I said, let me clear it up. This is what it means. It means working on health rather than disease. So simplify, simplify. We're going to talk about this more today. But when you go back and watch this talk, I want you to understand opening, close. Study the different pieces of it. You get those two, the stuff in the middle, you can roll through. My opening, by the time I got to the first slide on wrong information, we talked about the cruncher. By the time I got to that, 20 minutes were gone. Did you know that? When I got to the close, I had 20 minutes in the close. So 40 minutes were opening and closing. Got it? If you don't get those right, you won't have your audience. You won't lead them. And in here, you guys, by the way, thank you for doing what you did. It helped. But at the same time, there was a lot of silence sometimes too. You're going to have that in your talk. You're going to have that. It's okay. Keep leading. And so we're going to go into more detail this weekend. Some of you will be going to some of the classes on talk, and we're going to break this down a little bit more. But if you guys want success in your practice, the bread and butter is what we just did. If you can master that, what do you think the chances of, if I do a talk like this, the people coming into the report, what do you think the opportunities are of closing? I took most everything, the swords off the table. I'm going to close because how many times did I talk about take extreme ownership? Co-labor. Who am I? I'm the coach. I'm not going to fix you. I made that clear through this talk. So I want you guys to understand, if you do nothing but master this talk, rest of it will come in time, and it's easy. Learn to communicate, learn to speak, and I promise you, your headaches go bye-bye. And that means it's real easy. What did Dr. Webb say we need to work on? Talk, master it, master it, master it. Got it? All right, guys, thank you.